during the St. Dimitrie dinners. And these are unsung heroes. And it doesn't mean that we've recognized everybody that needs to be recognized, because there are many people that do things in the community and never get recognition. But there are those who stand quite a few feet above in doing the many things that they do. And one of our honorees today is Audrey M. Yanka Massey. I want to tell you, Krishnasa always says to me, I hate to imagine if Audrey were healthier, what a dynamo she would be, because of all the things she does as it is. And I'm going to read first of all the plaque. It says, on this day, St. Dimitrie Orthodox Church honors Audrey Maria Yankafasi for her many years serving our beloved church and taking on many roles benefiting our church and community. Audrey was married at St. Dimitrie to her husband George in 1963 when he was serving on active duty with the U.S. Army, and they returned to Bridgeport in April 1965. In February 1966, Audrey was elected secretary of the Ladies Auxiliary, along with becoming a teacher in our Sunday school and member of the St. Dimitrie Choir for many years. And over the years, it just continued and rolled on and on. And I do want to tell you, she's been our first lady for so many years, because George has served so many years as president. You have to remember who stands behind the woman. During the ensuing years, Audrey was active in the Parish Council, Women's Council of Eastern Orthodox Christian Churches of Connecticut, founding member and secretary of the Fellowship of Orthodox Churches in Connecticut, FORCE, representing St. Dimitrie during the 2 years of meetings with other churches alongside President George Howley, of blessed memory. Prior to the incorporation of FORCE in Connecticut, Audrey was president of the Ladies Auxiliary in 2011 during the consecration of our church, and a member of the Consecration Journal Committee, working in conjunction with the Parish Council, planning the consecration of our church on October 9, 2011. Wow, 2011, 10 years. During her remarks to the members and guests of our banquet, Audrey highlighted the founding of the Ladies Auxiliary in 1933 and the remarkable women who came to America from various parts of the Balkans, many single or married, and inspiring their children to become active in the faith and to become part of the American dream, calling them pioneers and the backbone of our community, who heard the word of the Lord and persevered the faith, or preserved the faith for their families, realizing that Christ appeared to the woman first and entrusted them to spread the word that he is risen. As president, she stressed more outreach for orthodoxy in the United States and closer cooperation with our forum, the National Women's Auxiliary of the Romanian Orthodox Episcopate of America, serving in many capacities during a span of 55 years. She started out as a 5-year-old. As in a person's life, and such is the case for our honoree who served St. Dimitrie as Ladies Auxiliary President at 6 different times, from 1981 to 2012, Secretary of the Ladies Auxiliary and Parish Council for many years, including this year, Delegate to the Episcopal Conference over a period of 50 years, and a member of the Episcopal Council Board for 2 terms, will be elected twice as Congress Secretary during the annual Congress held in Crest Lakes, Michigan, Festival Co-Chairman in Bridgeport in 1981 and 1982, President of the Women's Council of Eastern Orthodox Christian Churches of Connecticut, 1994-1995, and its treasurer from 1996 through 2021. Audrey is also the treasurer of the retirees. Phew. Ladies, with deep gratitude and appreciate, I'll leave this for the last. I just want to say, the other day she was arranging the tables. If you have any complaints, don't bother to complain. Arranging all the tables so that everybody could be happy. And after spending all afternoon here doing that, she went home to make 200 kurabi for this thing. She's our baklava, the flat baklava maker, and the kurabi maker, and she does these things, and also taking the orders for the takeout dinners on the phone and changing orders and calling and making reservations and people changing and not wanting to sit there, not wanting to sit here. And making the reservations here and there. Like today, she says, I've had it. But anyways, I know she's going to continue to keep doing it because she does it so well and because we always call on her. When you do a job well, you can never give it up, you know that. Because you're always going to be called on to do it. And Audrey always does it well. She's been a delegate at the Episcopal Congress with George. He's his navigator. They drive for, I don't know, 20 hours straight to go to Detroit, and they drive back with her bad back and all of the other things, and their bad backs and their bad knees. They have to stop about 20 times to get moving again, and yet they continue to do it. God bless you. I don't know how you do it. I can't. It is with deep gratitude and appreciation that we honor Audrey on the special 97th anniversary of our church and give thanks to the Holy Great Martyr Dimitrie, the myrrh-bearer, as we celebrate our Saints' Day in our community. May the good Lord remember Audrey's contributions, her good works and deeds, and continue to grant her good health and long life. God grant Audrey Maria Yanka Fatsi many, many blessed years. God bless you.
For instilling not only in me also, but my sister Beatrice, who is with me today, and my departed brother George, the love of God, church, service, and country. I was also fortunate to marry into a family with the same values. I couldn't have asked for better role models than my in-laws Chris and Pika Fatsi when I came into Bridgeport. I couldn't do what I do for the church without the support of my husband George, my daughters Marianne and Kristen, my grandchildren Adriana and Christopher, and far too many family and friends who have helped me along the way. Thank you to Picasso Mariana, Dean Coca, and the kitchen crew for a wonderful meal. Thank you to St. Dimitrie for your many blessings. Thank you to our community for this honor, and may we continue to grow in Christian love. God bless you all, and God bless America.
More words from Audrey.
I want to thank Juana and Mirja for beautiful icons of St. Paraskiva. They all know, most of you know what she means to me. And also my dear adopted adopted daughter, Susie Brown Makos, for the beautiful flowers, and her husband, her son, and my grandson, Stevie. Thank you all.
And now I'd like to call upon George Passy to make our next presentation.
Financial data, software upgrades and migrations, and training personnel over a period of 18 years. For those of you that have been with us in Clinton Avenue, you might remember the difficulties we faced in building this church. Finding the land, selling the old church on Clinton Avenue, and building and consecrating this church. And if that wasn't enough, some of our financial data, believe it or not, was prepared and tracked manually, not with a computer, done the old-fashioned way. It was at this point that Bob Lasky was elected as one of our two treasurers. As church president during the construction of this church, I really appreciated the work of our treasurers. We were renting the hall from our sister church, St. Nicholas. And when our initial builder, Primrose, walked away from completing this church, construction stopped. We discovered that much of the work that Primrose had done was not up to code and had to be redone at a cost to us of almost $1 million. That's money we had to collect extra. Our subcontractors wanted to be paid for materials purchased and work that was completed by them. And our lending institution, the bank, stopped all progress payments and said, if you want to finish the church, you're not getting a penny from it. So we were left to look for a new contractor and get additional financing. Thankfully, one of our own, Sam Javara, sitting right here, and his staff not only finished building this church, but completed it better than was originally planned. So why am I talking about past history? Well, because as you can imagine, keeping track of financials at that time was a nightmare of a job. We would not have made it through all that difficult time without Bob Lasky's efforts. He not only kept track of everything, as you will see when I read his plaque, but the data was imperative that we had to share this with the bank for projections needed to complete this church and to keep track of our existing church membership, contributors, donations, and pledges, which started once we started building again. Our new treasurers was also tracked by Bob, and they continue to use his software upgrades even today. So with that, I will read the certificate of honor for Brother Bob. On this day, St. Dimitrie Church honors Robert K. Bob Lasky for his many years serving our church and his leadership role benefiting our church and community. Upon graduating from the United States Coast Guard Academy in London, Connecticut, as an ensign, Bob was assigned patrolling the North Atlantic Ocean, and he served as a deck watch officer, a communication officer, a top secret control officer, and an engineering watch officer duties. Bob was honorably discharged from active duty with the rank of lieutenant. Prior to joining St. Dimitrie, Bob had a very bad background as a systems engineer for the IBM Corporation in New Haven and Hampton, Connecticut, where he programmed and provided software support for numerous financial and manufacturing applications for many companies in Clayton County. He was the director of computer and information systems for Lane Construction Corporation in Meriden, Connecticut, one of the biggest companies at that time. He also was computer and information system director for Bridgeport Machines in Bridgeport, Connecticut. In 1996, Bob joined St. Dimitrie and married his wife, Georgetta, and they were constant attendees in church and supported all of our church programs. In 2003, Bob became a member of the parish council, and 2 years later, he was elected one of our treasurers. In 2006, Bob sought and installed on his own computer our existing church membership and contribution package, which now allowed our treasurers to record and track all members, contributors, donations, and pledges to meet the future and accounting needs of relocating or constructing our future church in Easton. In 2007 through 2010, Bob set up and processed our 5-year building fund pledge payment program, initially at $670,000, which was used to offset our construction costs while monitoring and reporting our church's monthly financial status, along with getting up-to-date data concerning financial issues which was caused by our building walking away from constructing this church and our financial institution halting payments. After the parish council approved a new contractor to finish construction of our church, our lending institution approved further payments, and Bob set up and processed an additional $380,000 of building fund capital phase payments. This was given to us by 7 parishioners who came forth and loaned us another $380,000 when the bank opened up against us to build it. So where am I here? Done a lot of things, Bob. Okay. In 2018, Bob upgraded our church's software package to the newest version and migration of our church database to what they call the cloud storage, which allowed additional authorized St. Dimitrie personnel restricted and secure access to our church's database from their house. They no longer had to come in and use the church's computer. They could do it from home, saving precious time and keeping us up to date as they should be. During the past 25 years, Bob had continued to support many of our church building fundraising activities, such as formatting our festival sponsor posters, doing our Easter and Christmas card mailings, extracting and formatting all donations for printing, which you see in the monthly church bulletin, and most importantly, especially for me, training additional authorized personnel in the use of our church software. So, it is with deep gratitude and appreciation that we honor Bob Lasky on the special 97th anniversary of our church, give thanks to the Holy Martyr Dimitrie, the fur bearer, and we celebrate the Saints' Day in our community. Brother Bob, may the good Lord remember your contributions, your good work, your deeds, and God bless you. This is signed by Reverend Father George Coca and our President Pete Fax.
I might as well throw this away. George covered a lot of it, but I didn't know what the qualifications for this honor were, but I'm glad that being a church treasurer for 15 years, when the church was in the midst of selling his church and building this beautiful church here, it was enough to meet the requirements. My mother was Irish descent and Catholic, and my father was German descent and Lutheran. I was brought up Catholic, but later in life I attended the Episcopal Church for many years. In 1995, Georgella and I started dating while both working at Bridgeport Machines. Georgetta was born in Romania but left there to come to the United States in 1984, and she was a member of that. I attended service together there. In 1996, I was christened, and we were married at St. Dimitrie Church. And I joined the parish council in 2001. And in 2003, Father Cannell nominated me as an assistant treasurer without ever discussing it with me. If I had any inkling of the challenges that lurked ahead in the future, I would have politely said, no thank you, Father. At that time, the church, like George said, did not have any accounting software in place to produce their monthly and annual reports. But annual dues were written by hand and tracked by hand. And they didn't have any files of their members, electronic file anyway, or their donations. So, needless to say, changes had to be made to get us from there to where we are today. When Ted and I were nominated treasurers in 2006, we knew that many changes had to be placed. Ted took care of the maintaining our accounting software during his transition. He was able to provide the parish council accurate, up-to-date treasury report every single month. And I appreciate his efforts. And in 2012, George Gitza migrated the accounting software to the cloud and to a better software, Quickens Online, which is, and which the treasurers could access again through the internet and not from their PC and at home, or their PC. Now, I quickly found at that time, the church membership and contribution software plan used by over 30,000 churches. I first tested it and made sure that it handled pledges, because we needed pledges that the church here. It passed the test, and I installed it. We've been using it ever since, and it, like George said, helped us tremendously. And every single one of the building fund pledges we had. We had a 5-year building fund plan. We had that followed by a capital fund phase. We had a pledge for pews and icons, etc. And the software really helped us during that period. And it also helped us, like George says, every month. By being able to extract the data from this thing, do the posters, do the Christmas card, do the Easter card. So it's without this software, we wouldn't be able to do it. And the software also allows us to take only 10 minutes to generate the year-end statements for everybody. And like George said, we were able to eventually upgrade the software and actually put the database in the cloud. Until then, I had to keep the PC at home, and I had to enter everything myself because it was nobody else could do it unless because they couldn't get at the data. So fortunately, when it was doing the cloud, now we can share. Pete took over, was able to do the job very well. We now have 2,100 families reminders in our database, and 45,000 contributions totaling over $6.5 million over the years. So this is very well. Ted is very grateful to Tom Moody for relieving him of the treasury responsibilities in 2019. And I am grateful to Pete for relieving me of a good chunk of my duties in 2019. I am eternally grateful to Ted. He was the treasurer with me during this transition, and was truly a joint effort every step of the way. And I'm very thankful that the Lord somehow steered me first to Georgetta, and then both of us to St. Dimitri's altar in 1996. I thank Georgetta, and I thank the St. Dimitri community for what has definitely been the most memorable 26 years of my life.
Thank you, Bob, for all your work and efforts over the years, mentoring me and others as well. We do need more people to step up, to get involved, especially with the accounting practices. It's an awesome job, and it's a thankless job at times. And it does take a lot of work. And now I'd like to present Father George so we can celebrate Teta Veta's 100th birthday. Later? Okay, later. The food out? The food ready?
These 100 balloons are not in anticipation of our church's 100th anniversary. They're because my mother-in-law, Beta Babu, yesterday reached 100 years old. She's now entered into her 101st year. We thought that she would be able to come today, but she's not. She's in the nursing home. She's in the last days of her life. But she still has her mind, and she still, as a matter of fact, this morning Michael said she wanted to come to church. Because since she's been here in 1965, she hardly ever missed a Sunday or a holiday that they didn't come to church. This community was something very special for her, welcomed her when they came from Romania. She's never really been as sick a day in her life, except for the last couple of months that she started to fail. And she always said, how long am I going to live? Well, this is how long she's going to live. 100 years. So we have a cake for her, and in doing her dessert, I'd like to offer her a song that she can hear all the way over to the nursing home. Can we sing happy birthday to you? Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bella. Happy birthday to you. We actually took 2 cakes, 2 weeks ahead of time, 1 week and then another, because we didn't know if she would make it to the 100. And the kids started, are you one? I used to listen. Are you 1? Are you 2? You're going to be here all day. Are you 10? Are you 20? Are you 30? And she's going, enough. But anyway, she loved this community, and she always wanted to give. And she said for her birthday, she's giving a gift to the church. She wanted to buy the pizza ovens because she knows how much we she's somebody who has gotten involved in the community and has helped so much, has become part of us. And through her sorrow, I want her to know that this is her family, and we're here for her. Mary Beth, happy birthday.